Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Mostly From Scratch. I'm your host, Mr. Munchies, and about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I did a recipe review on a 2-ingredient pizza dough. It consisted of self-rising flour and plain Greek yogurt. It was 1 and 1. 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of yogurt. Now when I was mixing this dough, I noticed that it was more of a biscuit dough consistency than a bread dough consistency. And then after cooking it and trying it, pulling it apart, tasting it, it was basically a biscuit dough. I'd made a biscuit pizza, essentially. So, about an hour ago, I was surfing through YouTube, and you'll never guess what I came across. That's right, a 2-ingredient biscuit dough. Now, I had to laugh, and I'm like, what, really? So, you know what that means. I had to get out the apron and give it a try. So, the videos that I watched, the ratios were 2 to 1. 2 cups of self-rising flour to 1 cup of whipping cream. Heavy whipping cream, self-rising flour. Now, I watched a couple of videos, and in one of them, the lady used this recipe here, and then she also did a buttermilk one. So I did what she did. I cut the recipe in half. I used 1 cup of flour to a half a cup of whipping cream. Came out, the dough was kind of dry. In her video, she kneaded the dough, so I kneaded it as well. Only a couple times, 8-10 times, just to get everything incorporated. That's what we have here. These are self-rising flour and whipping cream. Excuse me. These are the buttermilk ones. I did notice when I was mixing this up that I had to add about another 2 tablespoons of buttermilk because these were very dry. I couldn't do anything with it. It was very crumbly. And then I figured, all right, since we're doing this, let's try some other stuff. So we have heavy cream, we have buttermilk, and we have whole milk. And I'll save these for last because these are kind of special. So I want to give them a try on camera and see how they come out and see if you can make 2-ingredient biscuits. And I'll tell you at the end of the video what I use for biscuits. Now, mixing this up, it was a very dry dough, crumbly. Now that we're opening it up, also too, let me say, these were baked per the instruction on the video at 450 for exactly 12 minutes. And that's what I bake my biscuits at. Now, I can never remember where the lens is on this. Get a look at that. It's still kind of wet inside. It did raise up nicely. Now, I rolled these out at a 1/2 inch. Now, this is not scientific. I mean, I just used the biscuit cutter as a gauge, so each one was as thick as the biscuit cutter. This is still kind of, I'd say it probably could have took another maybe 2 to 3 minutes in the oven. And it's still kind of doughy. Ugh. Yeah. It tastes like shit. Yeah, that's no good. Alright. So, let's move on to the buttermilk ones. Now, these, like I said, I had to add a little extra buttermilk to it because it was dry. It came out, well, let's see here. I saved some of the dough. Let's get this in frame here. All right, this is the heavy cream, buttermilk, whole milk, and the mystery one. The dough, this was when I was kneading it. I don't know if you've ever made homemade Play-Doh dough for your kids, but this was exactly what it was like, or what it's like. The only thing that's not in there, well, there's salt in there because there's salt in here. But yeah, if you want to make Play-Doh for your kids, that's a good recipe right there. I'm sure it'll spoil because of the cream. I mean, yeah, it smells kind of, yeah, you can smell the dairy in it. So that's that dough there. It's got some elasticity to it, but now that it's cooked up, maybe if it cooked longer, it wouldn't be so bad. That tastes like shit. Buttermilk. All right, so let's get into the buttermilk one. Here's the buttermilk dough. It's kind of sticky still. Now this dough has been sitting here for about 30 minutes, but it's got a good stretch to it. See, it's still kind of sticky. That's the way biscuit dough should be. So let's open this one up. Wow, that's kind of tough. Alright, this one cooked through a little bit better. It's still a little moist inside. This probably could have took another couple of minutes. Well, it tastes much better than this one, that's for sure. Yeah, it's kind of airy, like a biscuit should be, but still kind of heavy. Taste-wise, much better than a heavy cream. Still not like the biscuit stuff I make. Okay, next one, whole milk. This is the whole milk dough. It's got a little bit of stickiness to it. Yeah, I mean it's almost like this one. This one's got a little more fat in it because of the heavy cream, but it's almost the same. All right, so let's take a taste on this one. See what it looks like inside. This one actually cooked a little bit better. It still could have used a couple more minutes, though. It's still kind of a little soft in there, but it cooked up. I mean, they all cooked up nice. Let's give it a taste. It's not bad. It's better than this one. Not as good as that one. It just tastes kind of floury. Just like plain flour. Yeah. So, not so good. Okay. Well, better, I should say. That's okay. This one, figured I'd have a little fun since I'm doing all this kind of cooking here. This is the dough from this one. And if you could smell it, what you would smell is French vanilla creamer. I figured, what the hell, we're going crazy, so let's do it. So I made these with French vanilla creamer. You know, we used yogurt once, we used heavy cream, milk, buttermilk. I said, well, it's really not technically dairy, but you put it in your coffee, right? They smelled real good when they were cooking, almost like cupcakes. So when I was mixing up the dough for these, it came out almost like a brownie batter with just a little more elasticity to it. They cooked up pretty nice. The inside, yeah, once again, this probably could have used another minute or two in the oven as well. It's got a, ooh, it's kind of crumbly. It's because there's no fat in this because it's non-dairy, so it's very crumbly, nothing to bind it together. So let's take a taste. Yeah, look how crumbly that is. Actually, it's not bad. This could be used for some kind of dessert. Maybe if you threw a little butter in there for some fat, for some, you know, as a binder. You could use this. This is almost like a shortbread. I'm kind of surprised at this. Yeah, French vanilla creamer. Who would have thought? It's sweet. Like I said, it's kind of crumbly. But to use as some kind of dessert, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Good vanilla taste. Once again, the ratio was 1 cup to a half a cup. Although I had to add about 2 extra tablespoons of flour because, like I said, this came out really almost like a batter. But it's got a real good flavor to it. You could use it like strawberry shortcake or something like that. That's pretty neat. Just came across something. Maybe I'll post a 2-ingredient strawberry shortcake, shortbread, biscuit, dough kind of thing. I don't know. So, that's my review on this. Now, let me get this out of the way here. The basic idea behind this video was for people to have quick and easy biscuits, just like quick and easy pizza dough, which we know that didn't work out. And yes, making homemade biscuits does take time because you have to put your dry ingredients together. You have to chip your butter, put it in the freezer. Once it gets hard, you have to incorporate it into your dry ingredients, cut it in, put it back in the freezer so it doesn't melt, take it out, mix your wet ingredients, whether you're using buttermilk or just plain milk, and then, you know, make your biscuits and get them in the oven. So, yes, I have my own homemade buttermilk biscuit recipe, but I don't make it too often because it does take time. So, what I use, my 2-ingredient biscuit mix. There you go. Walmart. I get this at Walmart. This is like the best biscuit mix in a bag that I've ever come across. Southern Biscuit. Formula L. I don't know what happened to Formula A through K, but L seems to work pretty good. And some buttermilk. You know, the show is called Mostly From Scratch, so yes, I do use stuff out of boxes and bags, and these are quick and easy biscuits. They're really good. It already has the fat in it, little chips of butter and shortening. Let me grab an open bag and I will show you. Okay, in here you can see these little yellow chips. Might not be showing up, but they've already added the butter and the shortening in there, and that's what keeps your biscuits moist as they're cooking. So if you want 2-ingredient buttermilk biscuits that take about, I don't know, 5 minutes to mix up and 12 minutes to cook, there you go. So I gotta end this video like I do with all my other ones. So I am your host, Mr. Munchies. Thanks for watching Mostly From Scratch. So everybody, plate up and chow down.